Far away from Earth in the dark corner of space, there's a forgotten moon called Virel 7. It is a dead place full of ice wind and silence. No birds, no sky, no sun, only cold white ground and a giant building made of black metal. This building is not a home, not a school, not even a normal lab. It is a prison, a secret place where no one laughs, no one speaks, no one smiles. Inside the deepest room of this prison, behind thick glass and steel, sits a girl. She is not human, but she looks like one. Her skin is pale like snow, her hair long and silver, her eyes wide and empty. She does not move, she does not speak, she does not cry. She just sits and waits, but even she does not know what she is waiting for. Her name is gone from her mind. Her memories are broken like glass on the floor. For many years no one has touched her, not even once. She has forgotten the feeling of warmth. She has forgotten the sound of kind voices to her. The world is cold forever. Scientists walk past her cell every day. They wear white suits and carry blinking devices. They take notes, they press buttons, they whisper numbers, but they never look at her like a person. They treat her like a puzzle or a tool. They are afraid of her, or maybe they just do not care. But something changes one day. A man named Tom walks into the building. He is not a scientist, he is just a janitor. He cleans floors, fixes lights, carries boxes. He is normal with old shoes and kind eyes. Tom has never seen the girl before. He does not know the rules of the prison. He walks into the wrong hallway by mistake. The door behind him locks with a beep. He is now inside the restricted zone where she lives. Tom looks around, confused. The lights above flicker, the air feels heavy. He walks toward the glass and sees her. He stops, his breath catches in his chest. She looks at him, not like she looks at cameras or walls. She really looks at him as if he is something new, as if he is something important, as if he matters. Tom steps closer and wipes dust from the glass. She stands up slowly, like her body is waking up for the first time. Her eyes are not empty anymore. They are full of something like hope or fear, or maybe both. Without thinking, Tom places his hand on the glass. Her eyes follow his fingers. Then with slow, shaky steps, she raises her own hand and touches the same spot from the other side. Their palms meet with the glass between them. In that moment, the lights burst. The screens flash red. The alarms scream across the prison, but the girl does not blink, and Tom does not run. Then the glass begins to melt, not crack, not shatter, but melt like ice in the sun. It drips and vanishes until nothing is left. Tom stares in shock. Now there is no wall between them, only air, only space, only silence. The girl steps forward and touches his real hand. Her fingers are ice cold. Tom flinches but does not pull away. The girl gasps. She whispers one word, real. Tom nods, not sure what else to do. The warmth from his skin spreads into her hand, up her arm, into her chest. Her breathing changes, becomes faster, more alive. She closes her eyes, and for the first time in many years, a tear runs down her cheek. But then the ground shakes, doors open with a hiss, voices shout from the hall. Guards are coming with weapons. Tom looks at the girl. She looks back, her eyes now full of light. She does not speak, but he knows she does not want to be taken again. He grabs her hand and runs. They race through the hall. The lights blink above, sirens cry, metal boots stomp behind them. But the girl moves like wind, and Tom follows without question. Some doors lock behind them by themselves. Some cameras shut down before the guards see. It is as if something is helping them. Maybe it is the building, maybe it is the girl, maybe it is fate. They reach a dark tunnel and hide behind old crates. Tom breathes hard. The girl is quiet. She places her hand on his heart and feels it beat. She smiles. It is a small smile, but real. Tom whispers, "Who are you?" She does not answer. Instead, she looks at the stars through a small broken window and whispers back, "I think I was waiting for you." Asterisk. Cold metal walls shake with warning lights bathing the corridors in red. The sirens sing like angry ghosts, echoing through every hallway. Doors slam shut, locking rooms behind electric barriers. Guards run like shadows, their suits clanking, their voices sharp and afraid. They shout about breach and protocol and asset on the move, but no one truly knows what the girl is or what she has become. Tom runs, holding her hand tightly. Her fingers are still cold, but not lifeless. There is a spark in her now, something the machines cannot measure. She is not just alive, she is changing, and the building feels it. The AI that controls the prison speaks in a voice smooth and empty. Containment failure, Sector 9, Level 5 organism. Breached unknown parameters. Tom does not understand the words, but he feels the fear behind them. The girl looks around with calm eyes, her steps silent, her face unreadable. They turn a corner and find a door sealed with glowing red locks. Tom pulls, but it will not move behind them. The sound of boots grows louder. He turns to her, ready to fight if he must. But the girl lifts her hand and places her palm on the lock. For a moment nothing happens. Then the lock flickers and turns green. The door slides open with a hiss. Tom stares at her in disbelief. She says nothing, only nods and walks through the doorway. Tom follows, still unsure if this is a dream or a strange nightmare. They enter a long hallway filled with old machines, broken screens, and dusty glass. This place has not been touched in years. The girl walks slowly, looking at each device like they are familiar yet forgotten. She stops in front of one small screen and touches it. The screen flashes to life. Old data scrolls across in a strange language. Tom watches as her eyes follow the text, her lips moving without sound. Then she speaks in clear, soft English. This is where they tried to erase me, but machines remember what humans forget. Tom steps beside her, confused. Who are you? He asks again. She looks at him and replies, I am not a weapon, not a tool, not their property. I was made to carry something they could not understand. Tom asks what that is, and she answers in a whisper. Feeling alarms continue to echo in the background. The AI speaks again, warning of shutdown, emergency lockdown, extreme risk. But the systems begin to glitch. Lights flicker, doors open, then slam shut again. Cameras twist in the wrong direction. It is like the building is fighting itself. In a control room high above the labs, a single scientist watches in silence. Her name is Dr. Venn, and her eyes are wide behind thick glasses. She whispers to herself as she watches the girl move through cameras that go dark one by one. She says it is impossible. She was asleep for decades. Her brain was dead. She says the project was stopped years ago. She was just a shell. But now the girl is awake, and something ancient stirs inside her. Tom and the girl reach another chamber. Inside is a wide pod filled with wires and liquid, now drained and cracked. This is where she was born, or maybe where she was broken. She walks around the pod, slowly touching it with sadness. Tom sees words burned into the floor around it. Project Emberline, asks what it means. She replies in a soft voice that Emberline was not her name but a code. It means the last warmth. Tom asks why she was kept alone for so long. She says because they feared what she could feel, not what she could do, but what she might remember. Suddenly the lights burst again, and the floor shakes. The AI stutters, repeating strange words over and over. Contain emotion. Reject error. Feeling not allowed. Disconnect heart. Tom looks at the girl and sees her glow faintly, like her skin is catching light. Her eyes are bright with life, her breath steady, her voice calm. She says the building is not just metal and wires, it remembers too, and now it wants to help doors open by themselves. Guards get lost in loops, alarms mute, and lights flicker between red and soft yellow. The AI is changing, following new commands. Not from code, but from her presence. There, Venn watches and realizes she was wrong. The girl was not a mistake, she was a message. A bridge between logic and love, between fear and hope. Tom and the girl move again, now heading to the upper levels. She stops and looks back, once whispering thank you to the dark hallway behind her. Tom does not ask who she is thanking. Maybe it is the machine, maybe the memory, maybe herself. They reach a large elevator. She steps in and places her hand on the panel. The elevator hums to life and rises through the silent tower. Tom watches her with new eyes. She is not just different, she is important. She is something this cold world tried to hide, but now she is free, and as the doors close below them, a soft voice from the AI whispers in the dark warmth, detected protocol broken, let her feel. The elevator moves like a quiet breath, lifting them toward the surface. Outside, the frozen moon still sleeps under the weight of silence. Inside, the walls are changing, like they are waking from a long dream. The lights no longer scream, they glow. Like soft stars, the machines whisper instead of roar, and in the middle of it all she stands calm, still watching every detail like it matters. Tom leans against the wall, trying to understand what he is part of. He never planned for this. He was a janitor, not a soldier, not a hero, but something in her makes him stay. Something tells him this is bigger than rules or orders or locked doors. She turns to him with eyes that shine like starlight. She says the exit is above, but the danger is not. Behind it is waiting ahead. He asks who is waiting. She answers with only one word, them. Before Tom can speak, the elevator stops with a soft hum. The doors open into a control hall filled with black glass panels and silver chairs. No guards, no alarms. No voices, only one person stands there, back turned to them, hands behind his back, his coat is long, his posture straight, his presence cold. He speaks without turning. You broke the rule. You touched her. You woke her. Tom steps in front of the girl, ready to protect her, but she walks past him slowly toward the man. Her voice is steady. You knew this day would come. The man finally turns. His face is sharp and pale, his eyes like mirrors. He says he once believed she was a key. Now he knows she is a door. And doors are dangerous when open. Tom asks what that means. The man says long ago, before Earth even reached the stars, a race of beings created her kind. Not to fight, not to kill, but to feel. Because emotion was a weapon, no one expected love was. A shield, hope was a fire, and she was the last ember. She looks down like she remembers something painful. She says her creators were destroyed by those who feared warmth, by the cold ones who believe feeling is weakness. And the humans were next, but they forgot something. They forgot that warmth always returns, even after the longest winter. The man shakes his head. You will bring war. You will bring light where we built shadow. She smiles, not with pride, but with peace. Then let the light come. The walls begin to shake. Tom sees screens flash with strange codes. Not human, not machine, something older. The girl steps forward and places her hand on the central panel. The building sighs like a sleeping giant waking from a nightmare. Doors unlock. Across every level, cells open silently. Machines begin to pulse with warmth, not wires, not heat, but memory. She turns to Tom. She says she knows the way out. But she needs one thing, a name. He blinks. You do not have one. She says she was never given one. Only a number, only a label. Now she wants a name from someone who sees her not as a thing, but as someone real. Tom thinks for a moment. Then he says softly, call yourself Elara. She repeats it like a song she once heard in a dream. Elara, yes, that feels right. The man behind them steps back like the name itself stings. He says it is too late now. The cold ones will hear. They will come. And when they arrive, nothing will serve. Lila turns and looks at him with no fear. Then let them come, because this time I will not be alone. She takes Tom's hand and leads him through the high gates. Above them the sky opens, not to stars, but to the waiting dark filled with unseen eyes. Tom asks what now. Elara looks at the stars and says, now we run, now we learn. Now we find others like you, because you touched me, and because of that I remember what warmth means. Behind them the building glows from within, not with fire, but with awakening. Somewhere far across the galaxy something ancient stirs, a pulse sent across time and space, a signal of change. The cold ones feel it, and they begin to move. But Elara is ready. This time she is not locked in a room. She is not a test. She is not forgotten. She is the code, and now the code is free. Asterisk. The stars above Virel 7 are no longer silent. They hum with a low sound like a song too old to remember. Ships move across the black sky, not for patrol, not for rescue, but for search. They are looking for her. They are looking for Elara. She runs with Tom through a field of broken towers and frozen light. The cold air cuts through his jacket, but her hand in his feels warmer now. Not hot, not human, just warmer than before. It is like holding a candle in winter. Small but enough to guide. Behind them, the tower where she slept now burns without fire. It glows from within, its lights no longer red. The machines inside are no longer under command. They are listening to her, to the one who broke the silence. Tom asks where they are going. Alara does not answer with words. She stops at the edge of a broken cliff and points to the sky. There between stars a signal pulses once every few seconds. A forgotten spaceport orbiting the moon. That is where she must go. That is where answers wait. They find an old rover covered in dust and frost. Alara touches it, and the metal hums under her fingers. It comes to life like a tired friend waking up. Tom drives while she watches the path ahead. Her eyes never blink. Her face never shows fear as they move across the dead landscape. The stars above shift. Tom notices how the shadows move. Not with the sun, not with the light, but with something watching. He asks what follows. Alara replies with a word that tastes like ash. Cold Ones. Tom has heard the name from old legends told by drunk engineers, stories about beings who killed suns and locked emotions in chains. He never believed them. Now he drives faster. Spaceport rises from the ice like the bones of a forgotten god. Tall black towers bent with age, landing pads covered in frost, and in the center a beacon pulsing like a heartbeat. They enter through a broken gate. Alara walks ahead. The metal doors open for her. Not because of code or key, but because the place remembers her kind. Inside, the walls are covered with symbols. Not human, not alien, something older. She walks among them like walking through memory. Tom sees her eyes flicker. She touches a panel, and a voice fills the room. Not a recording, a memory. We built them to carry what we lost. We gave them feeling because logic alone could not save us. They were our final hope, our living warmth. Tom looks at her and sees something shift in her face. Not pain, not sorrow, but understanding. She says her kind were never weapons. They were never soldiers. They were vessels of memory, and memory needs emotion. Without it, history becomes noise. Suddenly, the air changes. The room grows colder. Lights dim. The beacon turns blue. They are here. Tom grabs a tool from the wall. Not a weapon, but something sharp enough to fight. Alara tells him to stay behind. He refuses. The Cold Ones enter without sound. Tall gray shapes with no eyes, no mouths, no hearts. They speak without words. They point at Alara. Return to silence. Return to stillness. She steps forward, her hand on her chest. No, they move fast, faster than any machine. But Alara moves with them, not with speed, but with presence. She touches the floor and warmth spreads. The Cold Ones freeze, not in fear, but in confusion. They cannot feel, but now they sense something new, something they cannot name. Tom watches as one Cold One reaches for Alara. She does not run. She embraces it, and in that moment, it stops. Its gray body cracks, not like breaking stone, but like ice meeting sun inside. There is no machine. There is a face full of tears. Tom steps back, stunned. The Cold One falls to its knees and whispers a word long lost. Homore, come more, try to fight, but Alara does not strike. She only touches them. One by one they melt into light. The room brightens, the beacon turns gold. And Tom feels it. Not fear, not hate, but warmth that spreads through the walls, through the floor, through him. Alara falls to her knees, tired, drained, but smiling. Tom rushes to her side. Are you okay? He asks. She nods. They remembered. They were never monsters, just forgotten. Above them, the sky clear, stars blink brighter, and somewhere deep in the universe, the Cold Ones begin to change, not by force, but by feeling. The stars above move slowly like they are watching. The silence after the storm feels heavier than noise. Alara stands at the center of the ancient spaceport, surrounded by melted metal and soft light. Tom beside her, still holding the tool, now useless, now forgotten. The Cold Ones are gone, not destroyed, not defeated, but changed. They are no longer hunters, no longer hollow. They are memory, now they are light. But peace never lasts long in a galaxy afraid of warmth. Something deeper watches from beyond the edge of known space. Not ships, not machines, but minds, old minds, silent minds. They feel the shift in balance. They feel the return of Alara. They do not speak. They do not send warnings. They simply come. Alara touches the broken panel beside the beacon. A new path opens beneath the floor. a tunnel deep below the surface. She says there is one last thing the cold ones forgot. A chamber full of their first memories, their first choice to feel, their first betrayal. Tom follows her without question. The path is narrow and lined with symbols glowing faintly. The air feels heavy but not cold. It feels full, like holding a breath too long. Reach the chamber. It is not large, not bright, but inside are shapes like statues frozen in thought. Some have faces, some do not. Each one holds something in their hands. A crystal, a seed, a memoriella walks slowly, her fingers brushing each shape. She says these were the first. The ones who chose silence, the ones who feared feeling, not because it was weak, but because it was strong. Tom steps forward, looking at each frozen figure. He asks if they are dead. Alara says no. They are waiting. But something must wake them. She turns to him and asks for his hand. He gives it without pause. She places hand on the center of the room. The floor pulses. Once a low hum fills the chamber. Then light rises from the crystals, not fast, not bright, but steady. One by one the statues begin to move, slowly, carefully, gently. Tom steps back, unsure what he is watching. These are not like the ones from before. They are not hunters, they are not shadows, they are silent because they are listening. The tallest one opens its eyes, not cold, not empty, but full of stars. It steps forward and places a hand on Alara's shoulder. She closes her eyes and nods. Then it turns to Tom and speaks in a voice like wind through trees. You touched her. You changed the code. You became part of the warmth. Tom says he did nothing. The figure shakes its head slowly, feeling as never nothing. Speaks now, her voice stronger than before. She says they must return to the stars. The others will come. The ones who built silence into law. The ones who erase light wherever it grows. Tom asks what they can do. Alara says they must spread warmth faster. Then fear. They must find others, not just cold ones, but humans too, because humanity holds the spark, the ability to connect, to remember, to feel. The chamber opens from above. The sky is now filled with distant movement, dark lines moving like cracks. In glass ships with no names, eyes with no light, they are here. The silent ones do not run. They raise their arms and lift the crystals high. Beams of light shoot into the sky, not as weapons, but as calls to the forgotten, calls to the lost. All across the galaxy, machines pause. I stop calculations. Sensors go blind for 1 second, and in that second something stirs. Old ships buried in dust begin to glow. Abandoned stations flicker with warmth. People look to the stars without knowing why. Tom feels it in his chest, not fear, not hope, but something between. Alara turns to him and says this is only the beginning. The real war is not with weapons, it is with memory, with the right to feel. Tom nods. He understands now. He was never just a janitor, he was the first to care. The beacon above shines gold. The new ship slow, as if confused. The darkness hesitates, and in that breath, the galaxy remembers. Asterisk. The sky turns red as the first wave arrives. Not fire, not light, but pressure, a weight pressing against thought. Ships move without sound across the stars, like shadows stretching from a distant past. Alara stands beneath the beacon, eyes closed, arms open, listening to the signal inside her. Tom watches from the old tower, holding the same tool he once thought was useless. Now it hums with a new purpose. The silent ones stand in a circle around the beacon. Their bodies calm, their eyes steady, their crystals pulsing in rhythm. They do not raise shields. They do not call for help. They wait, because what comes cannot be stopped with force, only with truth. Enemy is not flesh, it is not metal, it is silence. The kind that erases not just sound but meaning. Ships descend slowly, covering the stars like a curtain. Voices rise from nowhere. Flat, sharp, empty. They speak in commands. Return the source, disconnect the error, delete the feeling. Tom looks to Alara. She opens her eyes and steps forward. Her skin glows gently, her breath steady, her voice clear. I will not go back. I am not an error. I am not a thing. The air responds with a deep pulse. Machines scream. The beacon shakes. The silent ones stagger but do not fall. Tom runs to Alara. He places a hand on her shoulder. She looks at him with eyes full of something deeper than memory. She says this is where it must happen. This is the place where warmth must win. The ships begin to release forms. Figures fall like stars with no light. They land without sound, tall, gray, faceless. They move as one. They reach for the beacon. They reach for. Tom steps between them, holding the tool like a torch. The nearest figure hesitates. Its hand stops inches from him. Tom does not move. He speaks with no anger, no fear. She is not yours. She is not your code. She is not your silence. The figure twitches. It lowers its arm. Behind it others do the same, but more come endless tide after tide. All reaching, all pressing, all demanding silence. The beacon begins to crack. Ilara drops to her knees. The glow in her chest flickers. The silent ones raise their crystals. Again, this time the light spreads across the entire ground. Lines of golden memory flow through the floor, up the walls, into the sky. Tom kneels beside Ilara. He says her name. He says it like it matters, like it is real. Like it is the answer. Ilara, Ilara. She opens her eyes. She reaches for him. Their hands touch and the beacon explodes with light. Not heat, not fire, but pure memory. The kind that heals. The enemy steps back. Their forms flicker. Some vanish, some fall. Some stand still as if remember. Angela rises slowly. The cracks on the beacon mend. The tower grows quiet. The sky clears from across the stars. More signals begin to blink. Other beacons. Other voices, one by one. They respond one by one. They say the same word, alive. The silent ones bow their heads. They speak in a single voice. The code is rewritten. The warmth is returned. The heart is restored. Ilara turns to Tom. She places a hand on his chest. She says he gave her something no machine could reason. He smiles. He says he only did what felt right. She says that is what makes it powerful. The remaining enemies do not fight. They do not flee. They simply kneel. Their silence now filled with something new. Regret. Ilara walks to them. She touches one. It glows, then fades, leaving behind only light. Tom watches. He knows this is not an ending. It is a beginning. The galaxy has changed, and now it must choose. Ilara stands at the top of the tower. She looks at the stars. She feels them pulse with possibility. Tom joins her. Together they stare into the future. No more prisons, no more silence, only memory, only warmth, only the final embrace. The sky above is no longer black. It breathes with soft gold light from distant stars. Now awake, the tower on Betrayal 7 stands quiet. Not broken, not cold, but resting. Ilara sits at the edge of the landing deck. Her legs swing slowly, her hands resting. In her lap, Tom walks toward her holding two metal cups, one filled with hot liquid, the other just warm enough to carry memory. She takes the cup with both hands and closes her eyes. The warmth spreads through her skin like a story coming back. She breathes in and holds the air like it matters, like it belongs. Tom sits beside her. He looks out at the stars, then down at the planet far below. Earth blue, bright, alive. He says the ship is ready. Ilara nods slowly, but she does not move, not yet. She looks at her hands, once still, once cold, now warm, now real. She says she remembers the first time she saw the sun. It was not bright, it was not sharp, it was soft. Like a smile from a voice she almost forgot. Tom listens. He never interrupts. He has learned that silence with her is not empty. It is full of meaning. She continues. The sun was not a star to her. It was a promise that even in the darkest sky something always burns for you. Tom looks at her face. There's no glow, no strange light, just peace. She says the cold ones were never evil. They were scared, scared of pain, scared of loss. So they chose silence, but silence stole everything now. The galaxy begins to sing again, not loud, not fast, but true. Tom stands and helps her up. They walk toward the ship together, each step soft, each moment shared. The silent ones wait near the ramp. Their crystals now dim but steady. They bow as Ilara passes. Not in worship, but in respect. She turns to them and speaks softly. You are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are not alone. One of them steps forward. It opens a small box and holds it out. Inside is a seed. No light, no sound, just life. Ilara takes it. She says it will grow where memory is strong. They Board the ship, it hums beneath their feet like a heartbeat. Old but willing Tom takes the pilot seat. Alara stands behind him, hand on his shoulder. The engines rise. The tower fades. The moon falls away in the dark between stars. Alara closes her eyes again. She reaches for the signal, the same one that woke her. Now it is everywhere, planet station ships. People all remembering the cold ones no longer erase. They build, they repair. They feel Tom asks where she wants to go. She says not where, but who there are others like her. Not many scattered sleeping waiting. For someone to feel first, he nods course as set time passes without ticking. The ship glides, stars whisper, memories ripple. Then, a message arrives as station near a red dwarf has detected strange warmth. The kind machines cannot make, only hearts. Alara smiles. She places the seed into a small case. It glows faintly, the sign of life ready to begin again. Tom prepares for descent. He looks back at her. She looks forward. Outside the window, a new sun rises. Not Earth, not old, but beautiful. She leans close. To the glass she whispers to herself, I remember the sun, not just its light, but the way it made me feel warm, safe, alive. The ship lands gently. No weapons, no guards. Just steps. Alara walks first. The wind greets her. The soil soft beneath her feet. She kneels and places the seed into the ground. Her hand covers it like a promise. Tom stands beside her. He watches as the wind slows. The sky brightens. A small sprout recesses. Alara stands and whispers one last thought. They locked me away for years. They feared what I could feel. But one human touched my hand, and I remembered everything. Now I will touch the stars, one by one, until every one of us remembers the sun.